about like isolating. I'm gonna go back to the school to prison pipeline, because in the classroom, right, if I isolate a student because of whatever behavior, because they're talking while I'm reading a book to the class or whatever, if I isolate that student by saying, go sit here, go in the hallway, go do your work, I'm robbing them of the opportunity to continue to grow and to learn. So for me, in situations like that, and I done had, y'all, in my little bit of 4 years, I done had some students that done tried me like no other.
Really?
And I mean, So
in the fourth grade?
In the fourth grade. While at the same time, those students were very...
I was too scared of my mom to be... I mean, I wasn't a good kid, but I was too scared of my mom to like...
To do anything major, right?
Yeah.
So then think about it. The kids that are doing something, they don't have a fear factor from their parents, right?
Right.
They might not have parents. They also have experienced so much trauma, which is why we are... If I isolate a student that already has trauma at home, they can't go home and talk to somebody about their day, I'm only perpetuating the same stereotype that they already feel about black boys or kids of color. I'm pulling them away, and I'm saying, you know what, you sit here because you don't know how to communicate your feelings, or you sit here because you don't know how to sit in this classroom that is already, you look forward, you look at the teacher when they're talking, you walk in a straight line, you're not walking, like, all of those little things right there
prepare kids for prison.
Prepares them for prison, right?
Yeah.
Walk in a straight line. Look forward. Look at the back of the person's head.
Talking.
No talking. No, right? There's a way and there's a thing to do things. In my classroom personally, it's very based off of respect. Right. You respect me, I'm going to respect you. I'm going to respect you first because I welcomed you into my classroom. Right. And I think a lot of teachers miss that. Right. And so if you don't respect that child, especially the generation like we was just talking about, if that kid does not feel respect from you, they're not about to respect you in the classroom. They're not going to listen to you. They're not going to follow directions. And then you're going to want to give them consequences because you are literally doing what they're doing. Like, you guys are doing the same thing to each other.
Absolutely. But they feel like because you're the teacher, what you're doing should be allowed and okay.
Because there's like a hierarchy in school, and there really shouldn't be.
I have another question. Like, I'm a firm believer, like, don't get me wrong, I'm a firm believer in black people have struggles and things that we go through, like systematic oppression, redlining, all these different things that set us back. I do feel like, though, there's a lot of stuff that we do to ourselves that help perpetuate these cycles that if we didn't do them, these cycles would be irrelevant.
Can you give me an example?
Like, for instance, Foreign, I'll give you an example. As a kid, were you allowed to go to any school or say, like, you went to children's church or anything, and you were like, I don't like this, or so-and-so happened to me, or whatever? How often would your parent be like, oh, my God, really?
And you don't have to go back.
Right, or they tried to fix it for you, or was it usually like, I don't care what you're talking about, or they would go talk to the teacher would tell them something completely opposite, and you still had to go be stuck in that situation? Like, what was your scenario like in an environment like that?
Did you feel heard by your parents?
Ever? As a kid? Did you? Oh, okay, I did.
I just told you, I was a badass kid.
But not like that. When you went, so say your teacher did something that you felt at that time was racist.
So your teacher grabbed you up like this, right?
I'm finna grab his ass.
Right, but say like that's how it happened.
And you don't grab him back.
Right.
And you go tell your mom.
And then what would?
I'm finna
but listen. But what if your mom would she go up there and be like, "What happened?" And he could say, "Well, Aaron grabbed me. Aaron spit on me. Blah blah blah."
I gotta believe that white cracker. She'll be like, "Next time you know what to do." Blah blah blah. And be like,
"Okay." You had a different experience from me. For me, I didn't have that experience at all. If I did anything, it was
a teacher's word over yours.
Nigga, I had no voice whatsoever. Like, there was never, and basically what I'm saying, we're talking about being able to express your emotions.
You can say it like this. Cause my grandma raised me, right? So technically, right, you feel me, my grandma. But technically, that's not my mom, you feel me? So if it was my mom, we don't know. But my mom, she already like pushing 60, you feel me?
Yeah.
So like, the way she was thinking, that's why I was asking that question about the generation before us. Like, the other generation, like, they automatically, mannerisms is respect.
Right.
You treat people how you want to be treated. You're older, it is what it is.
I basically was saying, like, from a young age, I feel like we are taught to not be in tune with our feelings, to ignore those, to not really care what they are, what it is that you're feeling. Like, for me, I was never allowed to have an opinion or feel anything other than what I was told to feel.
My mama was, like, teaching the white system. Like, this is what y'all teaching our kids, right? This white system right here. You got the nigga system when you go home. This is the white system, how you got to play the game when you're on this world right here. If you don't choose to play that game with them, well, then your ass is grass, then you know what.
See,
that's what kind of game was being played.
I feel like that should be taught in school. In my classroom, that's definitely what I teach to my students, right? So I had one student, and it was my first year, and all the teachers were like, oh, you're going to have a hard time with this one. Oh, this one's really going to give you a hard time. So I already got that narrative, like, okay, I could be the teacher that walks in first day like, no, you sit here by yourself because I already know you're going to give me a hard time. Or I can be the teacher that says, hey, they're looking for you to fail, so don't. Right? And that is those are two major things. Like, the majority of the time, teachers are not going to choose that path.
Absolutely.
They're going to choose the path to have you sit here. You're going to stay over here. I know you're going to give me a hard time, so before you do, I'm going to make sure I belittle you enough to not even want to speak up in the classroom and share your feelings or your thoughts.
Yeah. And another thing that lady was saying is like when teachers do that, they teach the other kids how to treat that student. So like if that kid's always being told to sit down, shut up, stop doing this, stop doing that, the kids around him start to learn how to also reject him. But the teachers don't realize that they're teaching directly the kids to do that. I don't know. I just feel like a lot of us are not, like, going back to we're not allowed to feel shit.
I would say this: behavior classes and or like regular classes and behavior classes are like two different things. So like when you could, how I could personally be like, okay, in the behavior class, if I was to be like, all right, this he bothering me, or nobody's finna listen to you. You know what I mean? You go to principal office, nobody's finna listen to you.
Even at work, bro.
You know what I mean? Like,
go up and say like a coworker, like somebody's doing something or whatever. Nobody give a fuck unless you're affecting $1, or unless you about to start talking about suing somebody or something.
But that's not the case in a regular class, though. In a regular class, it's like rules to go by. Like, I guess you can go to the principal's office. You can tell the teacher they ain't gonna separate you. Like she was just, they gonna separate you. But in the behavior class, you're not gonna. So it's kind of different. So the kids I'm like was growing with, I've been working with right now. Like we laugh about it now, but back then it wasn't funny. You feel me? Because like we got fighting every day over dumb shit. You know what I mean? Just because of the situation of not being heard. You know what I mean? Or the feeling of being separated because you automatically are a problem child. When in reality, you're doing the same thing that kid is doing in the regular class.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's...
When you say behavioral classroom, do you mean like you have an IEP? Like
yeah.
Okay.
You know, you got,
so I didn't know if you had an IEP that you're technically like special needs.
I mean, there's two different special needs.
So I was special needs. I was like that nigga Noriega.
You can read slow. Like you could be less and read slow. You feel me? Or you could be actually special.
So like
I don't want to call them special.
My
I done spent too many years in that classroom.
My IEP was for comprehension. I had a really bad, I had terrible comprehension. Like I could read a whole entire page.
And I know.
Nothing I read. Like not even one word, but I literally read the whole thing. But
that kind of stuff bothers me.
So for me, I think my comprehension problems though came from not being able to be a free thinker as a child, not being able to have an imagination, not being able to think what I felt. You know what I mean? Like I was the type of kid like if I was to see like some Harry Potter shit or something, I could go off on a tangent about like Harry Potter and this, but growing up in the church home, like
not allowed, like
you know what I mean? Like that's the devil and this and like that, and so like. As a kid, if I was to, like, hey, mom, like, say, like, I heard somebody having sex over wherever. I'm like, mom, they're doing blah, blah, blah. She would like, no, they're not. They're whatever.
Yeah.
So, like, for me to be able to look at something, know what something is, and be like, this is this, that was stripped from me as a child. Does that make any sense?
No, it does.
Like,
it does.
Like, for instance, like, I was on the phone with my son, and my son said, like, he heard the shower on, I had no shirt on. He was like, Daddy, you're about to get in the shower. I was like, yeah, I am. But I could have said some shit like...
No, I'm not. I'm washing dishes.
You know what I'm saying? And that, I feel like, helped, like, that would start to strip his brain in the way it processed shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like, as a kid, that was stripped from me.
Yeah.
And I was not able to think. I am to a process now where I think it was like a couple of years ago I officially started to learn how to think for myself, and it's like a process. A lot of black people I feel like are not free thinkers. They don't know like how to think. They don't know how to like have their own ideas. Like even the idea of wanting to be like a thug or a rapper or whatever is like it's not how they feel. It's what they feel like they're supposed to feel.
But I feel like I'm supposed to get into this because that's what I've been shown.
Absolutely.
Do you think as a teacher or being a black teacher, like, is there a different way that you have to teach the kids than like other races or like a Caucasian teacher? Like,
do you have to be more hands-on? Do you have to be more like? Do you have to be like this super teacher as opposed to like
a mediocre?
Yeah, because like some teachers will get up there and like give them the work. Go sit at their computer and not say nothing the whole entire class. Do you feel like you have to be hands-on? You have to be
a cool teacher, or like
I don't feel like
that's a great
yeah.
question.
I don't feel like. Actually, no. Yes, I do. Being the black teacher, so here's the thing.
Good at you, nigga. That was good. Good job, man.
I would say yes, because black teachers or teachers of color, and I'm going to be very specific in PPS, are not retained. I cannot be mediocre. I cannot say, here's this worksheet, this is what you're going to do for the day, and think that I'm going to keep my job because my boss will not fight for me. I have to be the person that's like, all right, we're going to do this today, and I have to it was almost like I had to show out almost, right? Like, you know, those kids like, I want my boss to notice me, so I'm going to do this.
Absolutely.
And teachers of color aren't even retained within the first 3 years. We don't even stay within the first 3 years because that's probation. So I literally just got an email 2 weeks ago saying, oh, congratulations on getting off of probation. You're on probation for 3 years as a first teacher. So if I do anything that my boss looks at like, yeah, she didn't know what she was doing, on to the next, I have to go back to the beginning. But there can be a white teacher, let's say he's been teaching 15 years. He don't got to do shit because his job's not going anywhere. And that's the part that is like, that makes me feel like, okay, damn, so now I got to do this, I got to do this, I got to be better than this person, I got to be better than this person, and I have to find somebody who's going to help me do that. Because you don't get, like, somebody to say, like, hey, here are all the things that you should be teaching, and this is how we're going to do it. Right. You don't get that as a teacher. These are the standards. They're going to have a test in November. They're going to have another test in January, and they're going to have a test by the end of the school year, and they need to grow. Good luck.
Damn.
And so now I'm like, yeah, like that, and that's literally what it is. And so now I'm like, oh, hell no, I'm not losing my job. Yeah. I really like this school. I really like the kids. Yeah.
There's this saying that says that like black people have to be.
I definitely got it right.
We have to be like twice as smart, twice as good, twice as something just to be considered average. Mm-hmm. Like, sure. Like, and I feel like that applies in almost every industry, besides like the NBA.
Yep.
That's gonna go away in a second. The NBA started.
What does it mean?
Like, just.
It's like
off topic, but it's just like
it's a bunch of international people. It's not even the same.
It's not even the same anymore.
I know what you're talking about.
Awkward. But
I know exactly what you're saying. The game's kind of changed a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, we go back. That was actually one of our questions because PPS is. I've heard that PPS is like kind of racist, like the school district itself. Like I've heard that since I was in school as a child, and so like have you experienced anything like that? Like any firsthand like? And don't say anything that might like get you in trouble. Or
I'm fine. I will say that PPS is kind of like it's the system, the systemic oppression.
I gotta say PPS. You just say across the board.
Yeah, no, but I can you guys. I'm fine. I'm fine thinking about. I'm fine.
Because this one, we had a strip club etiquette episode like last time, and she was talking about how she was trying to get with the president of so and so. And I was like, I bleep that shit the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know.
No. It's fine. Because it wouldn't even be, what I'm saying is not, what I'm saying is not a mystery. Okay. So, I firsthand, I've never had someone just come up to me and say something. Okay. But I do know that the system that they have set up is not a fair game. Okay. And if you are a school district saying you want all students, by the time they leave PPS, you want all of them to be able to go out into the real world and be citizens that can contribute to the community and to the world, you are not setting that system up for them, right? So even if, let's go back to the IEP. Mm-hmm. You had an IEP for comprehension.
Mm-hmm. I was fucking considered retarded,
No.
man.
That's literally what it is. Instead of finding a good teacher that can just teach you how to comprehend what you're reading.
So the thing is, though, it was deeper than that, and I don't feel like anybody could have taught me what it was. Like, I don't think there's a teacher that could have taught me how to learn. You know what I mean? That was like some soul searching I had to do to really figure out why it is that I didn't comprehend shit. Why I can read, because I can read something now. Like, I could read something 20 minutes before a show and be like, nigga, I just read blah 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 blah, and you know what I mean? I actually sound like I might have some information on something. So I don't feel like that's something that could have been taught.
Really?
I don't feel like I could. The way my thought process was stripped from me as a child. Like, unless somebody was gonna come in and tell my mom the way she was raising me was wrong. So did
that IEP help you comprehend?
No, I still.
That's why you didn't need it. Okay. That's my problem. Okay. They put children.
That was strong.
But I'm just saying,
she was straight to the point.
That didn't do it.
Right.
So for all these kids that are put on IEPs, you're putting them in this system. You're doing these things to them, but you're not helping them.
Right.
By the time they get to, I have so many parents okay, can we get them off their IEP so that they don't have a modified diploma? Can we get them off when they could have in the beginning said, I don't want my child on an IEP. And I think that's the thing. They don't know that they can speak up for that. So I have a student this year. His teacher last year wanted him to be on an IEP for behavior, right? Because he was touching a kid. And he was bullying a kid.
Touching them how, though?
I'm going to hit you, right? I'm talking about the way your hair looks. Kid stuff. Like the lady was saying, these are kid things.
Yeah.
They wanted him on a behavioral IEP because of what he was doing in the 3rd grade while going through trauma.
That's crazy.
And his mom had no idea she could just say no until I'm like, I'm not going to sign off on this IEP. So I'll either say it in the meeting or you can listen to what I have to say and we can do this together. Yeah. But I'm not signing off on this because he does not need help knowing how to socialize based off something that happened in the 3rd grade. And we only had half a school year. Yeah. Shit, we was gone by March.
Yeah.
It's based off of September to March, you want to put this kid on the IEP while going through trauma. After knowing, it's not like you were unaware of the things that he was going through. You still wanted to put him on that IEP. And parents do not know that they can speak up because it's always the teacher's word. Yeah. Right? It's always like, oh, well, the teacher said it, so...
Yeah.
And so in my classroom, I try and step back. So even with conferences, with all of those things, I don't lead any of that. All my students do. Yeah. They are required to come to their conference, and they're required to go through their binder. Like, okay, this is what I did. This is the test I got. This is the score I got on that test. Because I don't want it to be me saying this is where your child is. I want the child to be aware of what they're doing.
Right.
And that goes back to the school to prison pipeline. I'm teaching them to think for themselves so that I don't have to isolate them, so that they can be open to share how they feel, when they feel it, when they understand, when they don't understand. Because I don't want them to feel like, all right, well, school didn't work for me.
There was even a point in time where when we went to Victory, they ended up teaching us, there was a point in time where I went to a school that was kind of ran by people that were Muslim, and they literally refused to teach us, your average, history. They would teach us, the real history and shit like that. And so, like, when I learn something new, I get excited. I want to go tell everybody. Like, I tell my mom, like, something I've learned and shit. And she, like, I would get in trouble for, like, putting up my fist and saying, like, Black Power as a kid. Like, I'd get in trouble. Like,
in trouble at home? Or
yeah,
at school?
At home. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. My mom was not, like, she would not advocate for me. Like, it'd be, like, more work for her. She
advocate for you?
I feel like it. Like, for me to not be on an IEP with me is that she would have to teach me everything. You know what I mean? As where, if I'm on an IEP, I get to go to another class where there's supposed to be a teacher there to work one-on-one with me, where I'm supposed to get the extra help. But that wasn't the problem. You know what I mean? But a lot of kids don't take, the parents, I feel like, don't take the time to learn their kids. And parents, like, I was listening to this podcast, and this lady said, kids are to be seen, but not heard. And it's like, we're saying all this stuff, and we're saying basically how the school is designed to set up the kids to go to prison. But I feel like there's a lot of things.
Work for somebody.
Right? I also feel like the parents are not knowingly or knowingly doing the very same thing. And how do, as parents, do we stop that? Stop the cycle.
I think that goes back to parents being aware of their power. Because parents are very unaware when it comes to school, right? Yeah. Like, parents don't know what we're learning, when we're learning, how we're learning it.
Absolutely.
But if they just asked, I could tell them, right? So, for me, and it sucks because I'm like one in a million, right? I'm one teacher out of a million teachers that do terrible things.
Right.
But I feel like if I can give this information to the parent, like, hey, this quarter we're working on these standards, we're doing this. So if you want to, you can work with them too. Parents don't know that they can have that information, and I think sometimes parents also have a lot to deal with, right?
Yeah.
So if I can send my kid to school, go work, pick my kid up, drop him somewhere off because I got to go to another job, how are we honestly supposed to think that they're going to do all of that and be aware and hear and want to listen and engage after everything they've just been through?
Nobody here talk about school. School for what?
Exactly. And that's been what it has been for years.
Yeah, for sure. Like, going to school ain't really like, I know a lot of people that I grew up with, even in high school, was like, nigga, I'm not going to college. This shit ain't going to do nothing for me. Like, what the fuck? Like, but think about it, like the shit that you did learn in school, social studies, math, algebra.
I can tell you one thing on that.
Tell me one thing, even if you learned like one thing. I mean, I work in inventory department, so I do count a lot.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, but it's like basic math, add, multiplication, division, shit like that. It's not like fucking algebra and fucking calculus or whatever. So.
That's why I think school needs to be more so about social experiences and the numbers and the stuff that they're going to be tested on. But you need to know how to move, like you were saying, Erin, like you need to know how to move throughout the system. Your mom was teaching you how to move through the system. Somebody has to teach everybody that. Like, I've taught my white students about white privilege. If we're gonna have these conversations, you're gonna know as a white child you have privilege.
Yeah.
If you are a female and black, you're gonna know that the privilege that they have, you don't have, while at the same time you can play this game to make it seem like you have some.
Yeah, absolutely.
But at the same, it's like it's a game. Like it is a game. And if I can take 1 year to teach 21 fourth graders how to play a game and something sticks, that's what I'm gonna do.
That's dope. While
teaching the math so they can take this test, but I'm also gonna tell you that this test is made by white men that don't care about you. They just want to make some money. Absolutely. So whatever this test says, don't take that. Like, don't internalize that as saying who you are as a child.
Absolutely. How many times, I feel like, maybe you might be able to answer this, but have you ever, like, given a test to a child that you guys didn't study for? Like, I feel like sometimes there'll be like, all right, we have this test coming up in a week, blah, blah, blah. Y'all be doing projects and shit all week, and then here comes like the test. And it's like, wait a minute, bitch, we didn't learn none of this. The fuck? Have you ever had that happen? Like, I
don't do that. But I know that there are people, so it's kind of like...
But you know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about. Because I think about that as, like, the standardized test. right?
Right.
We are taught not to teach the test, but to prepare them to take a test. Well,
Oh,
if I'm gonna prepare them,
I was blocking the camera. I forgot.
I don't know. I just feel like you prepare them, ideally, to take a test. But if I have the opportunity and I know what's gonna be on the test, a standardized test, my test, we're gonna do practice problems like that with different numbers. And I might even give you the actual question if I know what's gonna be on there.
I'm gonna take that out.
No, because that's real.
Okay.
That really is real. There are so many me, for example, it took me 7 times to pass a standardized test to be a teacher. Because I'm not a good test taker.
Right.
So I memorized that shit. I took that 7 times and I memorized it.
See, I think that was my issue when I realized that I didn't know how to comprehend. I feel like as a child, our memory isn't that great.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of actually learning something and retaining something, I was literally trying to memorize everything that I was being taught. And I didn't memorize it.
Yeah.
And the only way that I would memorize it if I made it into like a song or a flashcard or something like that. My mom was like, "Oh, that's just how you learn." Like, no, that's not how I learn. It's how I have to learn.
Yeah. Because it's not working. The other ways aren't working.
I say most of it's not structured for us in the first place.
What's not structured?
It's like schooling in itself. It's not structured for black people or other ethnicities. I don't keep saying.
All right, we keep saying all right. I hear this a lot. Like the world's not
set up for made for.
It's not.
Should we? All right. Are you guys for or against segregation?
I'm for it. My baby mom white. The second one, yeah. So nigga, I asked her this question when I first started listening to my Israelite shit. I was like, you know, if it was an all-out war, right? You just be shit out of luck.
Oh my god!
And she was like, and we laughing just how you laughing. And I'm like, nah, but would you pick a side? And she's like, no, be serious. I'm like, no, I'm being serious. Would you pick a side? She's like, I don't want to pick a side. I'm like, well, I'm picking a side. Nigga, I'm not finna. You gonna have to just come over here with us then. And if they kill us, then they gotta kill us then. Cause you rocking with me. But I mean, at the end of the day.
No, who? But this goes back to a major problem, is that black people always take on the responsibility to teach white people. So my initial thought was, well, who's going to teach the white people how to treat us? But that is a real thing. Like, who's going? If we're segregated, their privilege just stays the same?
Nah, they should be different though. You gotta realize, they life would be
right. Okay, so no, their privilege would be different. But
they would be way different. They would be doing that shit to each other. And then
I don't want to be. I just don't want to be. I want to be segregated, but I don't. I want to be segregated in the sense of.
Do you understand how integration basically brought down the black person, the black economic structure?
Yes, for sure.
Okay.
So, like, no, I would say, like, it's just really hard because I'm thinking of all my students that I went to.
The only reason why I'm saying it like this is because every other race is together. And they really look down upon each other if you date outside your race or if you, whatever the case may be, if it's not that race, then they got a problem with it. We like the only race where it's okay
to integrate.
To do whatever the hell you want to do.
And if you get something other than black, you're seen as, ooh, check, he got him a
Yeah. So that's going to be wrong. Like, all right, that means that we all moving as one.
If we go spin, I can talk, we were talking about this last night. I feel like my attraction for black women, this is rough.
My shit went down.
So, as a kid, I was not attracted to black women.
I used to be super attracted.
The idea of having to wake up and potentially smell a fucking burning hot comb would make me sick. Like, I would not want to smell that shit ever again. Like, I did not, but I realized as I got older, my dislike for black women came from the black women in my family. And until I dealt with that, it was like, just the idea was like, nigga, you's like my sister, you's my homie. I can't fuck you like that.
Okay, I can see that.
You know what I mean? Like, on everything. But, like, for me, it was just, like, the way I see the women in my family, like, they hella not loyal. Like, say, like, I walk up to the family barbecue with a chick I'm just dating. They could have, like, let's say, like, hypothetically, some random prostitute I just paid to go on a date with me because I couldn't find anybody, right? And, like, she's pretty, she looks well put together. My family would be like, what are you doing with him? You better not marry this nigga. You better have a job, blah, 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 blah. And they'd be saying this to a prostitute, and they would have no idea. Not
like
saying...
He's only here for 3 more hours.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? They would have no idea. Not saying that, like, prostitute's, like, a low class or anything like that.
Yeah, but just, like, it would just be random. Like, it's just a very random person.
Bro,
they don't already be like, hell no.
They literally would tell them that, like, don't marry this nigga, don't do that, he's this, he's that, like...
Yeah.
And, like, for me, like I got in a situation where I ended up breaking up with a girl. I ended up going home, taking my stuff to my grandma's house. I had the TV and PlayStation. She got mad at me, came and told my aunt that it was hers, and I took it from her. My aunt didn't call me, didn't do anything. Let her go down in my room and take that shit, bro.
That's crazy.
Nigga, I flipped the fuck out, bro. Like, you really let this bitch come in my room? You didn't even call me? You didn't do nothing? She's like, she said her mom had the receipt. Bitch, did you see it? Like, I have some of the most disloyal women I have ever, like I have never met. I ain't got no supportive black women in my family. Yeah. To me, I don't.
Yeah.
I just don't. And from that, I ended up having a real, like, bad taste in my mouth for black women. And then even as I got older, black women were always, like, trying to tell me I was gay because I wasn't, like, some thug-ass nigga, or because I like fashion, or because I like sewing, or because I wasn't this cookie-cutter-ass nigga trying to be a rapper or a thug or the next NBA star. I was, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so, like, I don't know. Black women, for me, don't really fucking like black men unless you a thug-ass nigga, in my opinion. Very, very few do. So, I fuck with black, like, I'm for integration. I'm for it, but I realized the problems that it affect, like, how it affected our community. Mm-hmm. And I also realized that, like, I'd be a single-ass motherfucker if we wasn't. I would just...
You just be real lonely.
I'd be one lonely-ass gay nigga. No, I'm just...
Hey, look, man. I just don't like black bitches who be bullshit.
Can I bleep that last part?
What?
Black bitches that be...
I don't like black bitches that's bougie.
What do you mean by bougie, though?
Fuck, man.
What do you mean by bougie? I like bougie.
I don't know. Like,
hey, bougie as far as what?
Is it okay if she's like white and bougie, or Hispanic and bougie, or just not bougie? Just bitches, period, that are bougie.
Just black bitches. I don't give a fuck about other races. You can do whatever fuck you want to do.
Why? What is bougie? Like, what? All right, can you give me your definition of bougie?
It's black motherfucker. This is why. What's wrong? I swear this is where it comes. Why niggas don't like black people. I'm trying to tell you. It's just me. It's just like the fact that, like, your fake ass hair, all this shit, all this extra shit that you got going.
White women wear all that shit too.
That's what I just said. I don't care about other races.
Okay.
I said black women. When I said black women, because they don't do anything natural to being black. It's everything natural to Mexican, to white, to fucking Colombian.
We started all that though.
I don't know who started all that shit, but me just personally, when he was like, I don't like black. I like black women.
I didn't say I don't. I said
not
no.
Like you don't like black women.
Okay.
I'm saying like black women in general. Like I like black women, right?
But so you don't like no.
It's just like it's like one of them things where it's like the unnaturalness of it, like because like you were just saying, like when you look at them, like you be seeing your sister, you see your mom, and all this shit, and then they go and do unnatural ass shit all the time. That's just how I really like. Or like hot ass pink hair, nigga, or like yeah, I just be like. You know you look good with black hair? Like, you know you look good with just regular dash on your shit? And like, regular post.
I get what you're saying.
You know what I mean? You know you look regular.
I think
it sounds like you just like somebody that's natural.
Yeah, all my bitches is natural. Or all my females is natural. Mm-hmm. But I'm saying, like, as far as, like, black women, though, is what I'm going for. Like me personally, I would.
I'm different because I like that colored hair. I like the piercings, the tattoos, I like that ratchet ass shit. It's a time and place for everything though.
No, but that's what I'm. All right.
I'm just saying my preference. Why are you telling me no?
Because I'm in a disagreement with you. That's why.
Okay.
But not. It's just a regular disagreement. But you feel me? It's just like.
You don't think women should dress like that at all, ever?
Black women.
So you feel like
why
I don't care about other races, my nigga.
I feel like black women created that though.
I don't.
Like the ratchet, like the nails. the weave.
No,
the
other people created that shit to look like black people. Just regular stuff. If a female was
right. What I'm saying, like they started like black women are that. Other people imitate that to be black.
So now it's like black women are imitating them when in reality black women started that.
You get what I'm saying? Like
a natural look, though. That's what I'm saying. The natural look. You talking about the
natural, unnatural, brown, blue, purple, whatever it is.
No.
Do you get what we're saying?
Yeah, bro.
You're saying that. You're saying with the weaves and the nails and all that extra shit, they're trying to look like other races, right?
Literally.
But listen, what I'm saying is the nails, the weave, the extra shit is naturally what black women are. So it's other races trying to imitate black women. Fact or not?
It is, but I think we're just not going to win this one.
Okay.
What I'm saying, y'all not finna win this one at all. But I feel it.
So I'm saying,
like even straight hair, like straight hair, curly hair, relaxed hair.
No, I feel like that shit looks fire on black women like that. It just depends. It depends. It really depends for me. It really does.
All right, if I, all right, this is all I'm gonna have to say. This is the last thing I'm gonna say. About. If I have to look at my black shorty, and she look like this one night, and the next morning you don't look like that, I got an issue. I'm going to have an issue.
For me, that would be with any race. I don't give a fuck if you're black or not. So it's
so
okay for a white girl.
If I met you with a haircut and then I see you 3 weeks later and your shit is nappy all over the place, I'm supposed to be okay with that?
I said the next day.
Okay, the next day. Sure, the next week.
The next week.
Normally hairstyles last longer than
you just did awesome goblin shit all night. You feel me? You got shit. Not saying y'all look good. Y'all look. You feel me? I'm looking. I'm all up in your look, but. I'm saying y'all did all that goblin shit that night, and then just to wake up the next morning, y'all try to put it on smut on all females. I said black females.
No, all I'm saying is black women created that look that you're saying you don't like. So you're saying that black women are only trying to imitate and look like other people when they created that look.
How did they create it?
Ask the black woman. She's here. She's saying the same thing as I am.
Create that look. Mm-hmm.
It goes all the way back though. The things that, like the nails, that didn't just start. Like who was the first person you saw with long nails?
A black woman.
A black woman.
Probably Halle Berry and Baps.
Like I'm saying, like that shit is not like this stuff. This nail shit is not like new. Like it's not like something
that is new under the sun. But
what I'm saying is it's not new because black women been doing that.
You get gangster on me.
It wasn't.
You're not listening.
It wasn't until like Khloe Kardashian and shit like
Start
that.
wearing fucking long ass nails.
And it was funny because they were like new hairstyles. A picture of Kim Kardashian in cornrows, and it's like, bitch, what are you talking about? New hairstyle?
No, it's always been colorism and shit. It's always
basically. You're saying I just want you hopefully to clarify what you're saying because
like I'm backing your way out here.
So because what you're saying right now basically is that. It doesn't matter if white women, Latinos, Asians have the extra ratchet look, but if a black woman has it, it doesn't look right. And I'm just trying to let you know by you saying that it might have backlash.
I don't give no fucks. Nigga.
Because black women are the women that created that look.
What look? That's what the ratchet look. That's what you talking about.
What is ratchet? Okay, what's the
ratchet? You calling it ratchet?
Okay,
look. That's what I'm saying.
Like colored hair? Like I'm asking.
The look I was talking about was natural. Just look, it was a natural.
You just want her to wake up.
It's not too much makeup on. It's not too much shit going on. It's your regular natural self. And you're going outside being your natural self. You're not going outside trying to be like the next female. That's another race.
I see. I disagree because I was at the nail shop with wifey. I'm sorry, this is cool. So we was at the nail shop with wifey, right? And
you got a bunch of black people, black women not being black women. They're being other races. That's all I'm saying. They still black, but
they can't be anything but. I don't care how long some bundles are that I put in my hair. I'm still going to be that black woman. I just happen to have long hair that day.
It's like you wanted to have long. So like that's like saying if you got messed up teeth and you want to go get veneers, you trying to be like somebody else. No,
like why are you trying to be like them white people with good teeth?
You know, nigga, you just wanted some good teeth, motherfucker. It's just the perception. I feel like I understand what you're saying. You're saying like almost if black women want to have straight blonde hair and blue eyes, you feel like they're trying to inspire to be like that white girl. But even with the blonde hair, blue eyes, there's black people that have
Naturally.
blonde hair and blue eyes.
Okay. Now you want me getting my Israelite shit. Which one you want?
Either or. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Cool. We just gonna...
No, go ahead and say it.
We're going to agree to a disagree. Like I said at the beginning, I disagree. I understand completely. I disagree. I'm not talking in general already.
I just feel like that look that you're saying that you don't want a woman to have, black women created. That's all I'm saying.
If you think that, then okay. I'm saying okay.
I mean, I ain't really dated too many black women, so I don't know. I'm not even gonna lie to you, but I thought so. Maybe, nigga, I don't know shit.
But it's just one of them things for me. I don't know. It's just one of them things for me. Just like,
so wait, you don't like? So do you like black women though?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you said something like you did.
But only when she has like her natural curly hair.
Just natural looking. You know.
Shit, I just said.
So
you don't like? Okay, that's what I'm asking. Like.
So for me, I feel like there's a difference between like classes. I feel like there's a certain.
Yeah, pocket.
I'm not even. We're gonna cut that out there.
Jen, I'm telling.
Like for me, like I'm saying, like I don't know, like because you got your like Tiana Taylors, your Gabrielle Unions, your fucking Nia Longs, your like they're black women, but they look different from Chanel down the block. You know what I mean? Like
what are we? Where are we going? What looks different?
Wait, time out. And you gonna say she look different from Chanel down the block?
Chanel down the block got a messed up perm, got her pajamas on, got a mustard stain on her halter top.
You think most people don't have that? Or they just can show you one thing.
No, I'm not saying they don't. I'm just talking shit.
I can tell.
Okay.
You
know what I'm talking about, though. I don't know. I just
There's famous people that can upkeep and take care of 24/7.
I don't feel like you have to be rich to have a certain upkeep.
That was your example.
I know you said
that was literally your example. Around the block.
I don't know any, like, I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to cut this part.
Okay, great.
Alright. Hey. That's what I'm like. Hey.
Alright, so I'm going to say it, but I'll cut this part. But low key, bro, the average typical, like, urban black woman, I feel like they look a certain. They look a certain way. They carry themselves a certain way. They look a certain way. I really think so. That's just me though.
Yeah, what? There's regular.
Yeah,
like it's just like niggas too. It's like regular niggas, and you got crusty ass niggas, and then you know.
I didn't feel comfortable calling a woman crusty though. So I was trying to.
I mean, she has a mustard stain. So at this point, what else can she be?
Yeah. Told them be done in a few months.
Yeah, bro. Fucking chipped off shit. Like.
What if they can't afford to?
No, they can. They just don't. They just don't.
I don't know about that. Can't afford it. Are you out of pocket?
Nail polish is not that expensive.
To the extras.
But then you go into the you don't have to look good for no man. You're not here to please no man, and
you don't. It's for yourself.
Yeah, that too.
No, that don't count.
Yes, it actually does.
No, that don't count.
It does make you feel good when you look nice though.
It literally, I get my feet done because I like to look at my cute white toes. That's it.
I'm gonna look down and see them creepy crawlers. Well, I want to see white toes too.
Then take her to go get her feet done.
See, we making this personal. See, look.
I'm just saying, you want to see something that
you said you want to get on your Israelite shit. I was hoping you went on your Israelite tangent. So I personally feel like I'm not opposed to that look that you say you don't like. I think it looks good on black girls.
It look good. That's
just not your type.
Just me personally.
I don't know why that bothers me for some reason.
That statement?
Yeah. Like he likes it on other women besides black women.
No.
Because you are kind of excluding every other race except for, you just mentioned.
They racist, whatever they want to do is what they want to do. But uplifting like black women in themselves, if you was to look this certain way, you walk this certain way, and you talk this certain way, I guarantee you all black men will be on you. But you're not doing that. You're acting as if you're somebody else's race. That is what I'm getting to. The bottom line of it. That's just what it is. That's what
you talking about their beauty standards? You think like black women aspire to be other cultures' beauty standard?
Yeah, instead of their own. And yes, you guys were saying, oh, we naturally, we used to naturally be ourselves and naturally look a certain way. We don't do that anymore. A lot of black women don't do that anymore.
So you feel like weave will alter the way a woman's natural look is?
We as in?
Weave.
Here.
Yeah, sure.
So are you for weave or not for it?
I'm for weave.
On black women?
Yeah.
No, he likes it curly. He likes her natural 4C kinks.
It's I'm just saying, it's some females that look good bald, you feel me? It's some girls that got the whole little wave shit going on. It's all type of designs out there in this motherfucker that black females be rocking. Yeah. That's all I'm saying. Naturally, there's a natural fucking look that black women can uphold. And
I thought a lot of black women wear weave because
they don't know how.
Don't it take long for you to pick your hair out? It take a minute to get that shit right?
It's deeper than hair. It's deeper than that. You making it about clothes and shit. That's why I try to keep it on.
I was saying like I thought a lot of black women. We have one sitting here, but I thought they did it like weave and shit just because of the upkeep and how long it takes to fucking do your hair and shit like that. It might be easier to get some braids or. I didn't think black women get their hair a certain color or their eyelashes a certain way or wear a certain look because they want to inspire to look like.
All I know is, where does that hair come from? Who hair is it? Where it come from?
Like India or some shit like that.
It ain't black though, is it? That's all I'm saying. It's horse's hair and it's somebody else's hair. That's what I'm saying. It could be black. I don't know. But me personally, majority of the shit that you got on ain't black.
Neither is that jacket, but
it ain't.
So I'm just saying, like, but you like it.
It's motherfucking.
Yeah, it's made probably by some kids.
It could have been some kids, some Russian kids, or some Indonesian kids, or some Asian kids.
But all I'm saying is, but that was what you liked. That jacket was probably made in the image of a white man that looked good on an athletic fit, right? That was made for him, but it looks good on you too. And so it doesn't matter. All I'm saying is just, it doesn't matter.
It does matter because when we were just about to go into
well, to you, yes. Like, to you. Okay, I don't want to have that Israelite conversation.
That's what I was saying when we was about to go into that whole debate. It's a certain way that we walk and talk and we move, right? I could have got into the whole, like, there's certain shit that I'm not doing. There's certain things that I'm cussing right now. You feel me?
You not supposed to be?
Nah, hell no.
I don't know.
It's a lot of things that I'm doing that I'm not supposed to be doing. So when I was saying uplifting, like I was saying, in general, like there's a certain way that we walk and talk, and if you're not doing that, then you feel me? That's
you're not black.
No, it's not black. That you're not black. It was the conversation of why do black people butt heads together, as in being like, why don't you like this individual? Like, because at the end of the day, we're both trying to do, like you just said, the jacket, right? For instance, he was saying earlier, I buy everything that's supposed to be black. I just bought Tiny's book. Most niggas don't buy nothing black, so you don't even know where it's coming. You don't know it. It's just, it looked good on me, right? So what I was just about to take out of that is, okay, we're all doing something that's different in this motherfucker. Like, we're not really walking towards the faith of where we're supposed to be walking to. So when I'm saying, like, the texture and everything, it's not naturally black. It's not naturally, like my Israelite tell me to take this shit off and put on a robe. You feel me? Like,
it's because of the material it's made out of.
You feel me? Like it's
not supposed to be made out of anything other than 100% cotton.
It's I don't know. It's one of them things.
That's what Israelites do.
They don't wear mix. So the Israelites go strictly based off of what the Bible is. Okay. So they're like Christians on steroids.
Yeah, and some that I've experienced are very, very like, no, this is what you need to do. And I'm like, sir, you're yelling at me and I didn't do anything to you.
They're very passionate about what it is that they believe, and so I get what you're saying. I do get it, but I don't. All right, so since we on this, we're gonna spin real quick.
I get what I'm saying. It's not, we like agree to disagree, right? Like, I'm not like literally disagreeing with y'all. It's more like a, if you was to take it.
Based on your beliefs and where you're moving in your life,
like
you see it differently.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
I get what you're saying. I do get what you're saying. I don't want. I feel at one point we might like blow up, and I just don't want you to fucking put out in the world that you don't like black women to do this, and it sounds like you're okay with all these other races doing it, because I feel like for instance, nobody's buying Indian weave to go and then going and getting a red dot put in the middle of their forehead to look like a fucking Indian lady.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But bunches are buying long ass weave and going and getting acrylics and going and getting this and doing that to look like us as black culture. Like, regardless if it's their hair or not, you're not going to convince me that there's nowhere in Africa where there's a black woman with long ass beautiful hair.
And that's what I was just.
It just might be the. It might just be the market of where they buy it from.
Where you from is where you from. That's why I said I don't want to get into that.
I know. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and on top of it, we both got white girls, nigga. We over to tell a black woman.
Yeah, you guys are terrible.
I literally just said I got a white. Hey, look, if it was a race war to brace, I asked you this question, literally.
I ain't never asked you.
When I get mad, you know what I say now? Esau. You know, I be saying all type of. What does that mean?
He killed his wife?
You a white devil? All type of shit. All type of shit.
Is she okay with it?
Yeah, now. Because, I broke it down to her. And I let her read it, too. And it's understanding.
Can she, like, as a white woman, can she be I don't know if she could be an Israelite. How does that work?
No.
So Israelites, so basically the idea of Israelites is that black people are original Jews. So basically what happened is that we are the original Jews. We are the people that got kicked out of the promised land. We are the ones that were driven out, and we are kind of just lost in that. We never have. So basically, we're kicked out of the promised land. We're supposed to not be able to have this beautiful life. And basically, we're supposed to be enslaved. We're supposed to be going through what we were going through in America. And at some point in time, they're supposed to let us go. And
never was supposed to let us go. We just didn't keep the commandments of God. That's all this happened.
Right.
We didn't keep the commandments of God, so we've been, you feel me, shunned to the left, you feel me? And every other culture and race has been up front with theirs and still up front with theirs, and we always going to be. The same thing your grandma preach, everybody grandma, it's the same. It's all the same shit. It's just the basis of being, are you Jew or are you a Christian? Because Christianity is brought to you through Americans, through, you know what I mean? And then Israelite is brought to you through the Bible in itself. Like Jacob is black, Mark is black, everybody in the Bible is black. You know what I mean?
So for me, the only thing I get kind of mixed up with like the whole Jew thing is just like, I don't get why it matters who the chosen people are. Like, say like we can go back and prove that we might be the original Jews. Like, what is that? What does that do? Does that just give us the knowledge of self so that we have more power and understand who it is that we are?
It's empowerment to it in itself, to understanding who you are and what is.
Why can't we as a people just give us that empowerment? Why do we have to have... Like, I'm not saying that it's bad to, if we were to figure out, but I just don't get why it matters. I really don't. I don't get it. Like, who cares? I'm not saying you're wrong for feeling that way.
I don't know. They push Christianity. They push Jesus on you every day. Muslims push it. You know, they push.
I don't feel like any religion pushes anything on anybody besides Christians. In my opinion. I mean, I guess Israelites kind of do.
There would be no mosques in America.
No, that's a choice. You get the choice to go and worship. That's in the Constitution, I think. Yeah. Choice of worship or some shit like that. You just know what? Say it, bro. Nobody's arguing. I just want to have a conversation.
I'm trying to figure out where you was coming from. If there's a God in the world, then there's always going to be religion.
I don't feel like God made religion though. Religion's a man-made thing. So I think there's.
God made the Israelites, right?
No, No, God made people. People made Israelites.
You're calling them people. That's what you're calling them people. I'm not. That's what I say. I can't get into no discussion unless my Bible is sitting right in front of me. Because I'm just finna read it out loud.
So for me, the Bible is like something that's been rewritten, the most rewritten book in history, right? It was like the book burning and shit. They actually took the Bible and it was like rewritten. There was no Bible for a while. At some
27 passages was rewritten, and that technically is a whole book.
Wait, so what? I don't know. Tell me. Teach me.
That's what I said. I don't want to go down this time. We already off the type.
We are.
Pipeline. We supposed to be on
school to prison pipeline.
We on the whole Israelite.
We got off tangent because we was talking about integration, and then we were talking about was he for it or not, and you started talking about if there was a race war, how would would your wife choose up?
I was a personal question, like y'all. I was giving you an example with Shorty, like I said, but I was asking y'all with y'all.
If there was a race war, I don't know if I would choose up, as far as picking one race over the other. I feel like I would try to create a group of us like that were not for either side, but kind of just in the middle, trying to develop something new. I'm not for believing one race is superior over the other.
Do y'all teach that one world order shit like in school?
Say that one more
time. Do y'all teach like one world order?
One world order?
Yeah, like everybody's equal and like I don't know how to explain it other than that. Like, cause how he was going was like he would have like a middle ground. Everybody else picked a side and then it would be a middle ground. Like in school, do like cause it was like prison a pipeline. Like how like. Is there like a structure, like a system of being like? I don't even know. Fuck it.
No, I feel like it's a good question coming.
Like really how to answer, like how to ask that question.
Like in like a hierarchy or
just kind of like
in the school system.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's naturally there. I don't teach it though, because I try and break those types of things. So I'm not going to perpetuate something that I want to go against. So I'm not going to teach that I'm here as the teacher, you're here as the student, the janitors are below both of us. I'm not going to perpetuate things that I think are causing the biggest problems in the world. To think that somebody is above you is going to make you feel like you are less than, continue to feel like you're less than, and then move in the world as you are less than, when we can all be on an equal playing field. As living, when I was in the Portland Teachers Program, this guy came and talked to us about living horizontally. So, like, not living to, like, be above the next person, but we're all here. Yeah, we're all equal. We're all on the same playing field, regardless if it's the janitor that cleans the bathroom, the principal. We're all here to work, and we have one goal. And
you should always treat the janitor and the CEO the same. Mm-hmm. It shouldn't matter. Yeah. I do believe that. But, no, I definitely don't. So, I'm for integration, but not for integration at the same time, because I realize how much it impacted Black people's economic system, and how if we would have stayed together, we as a culture would be completely different in life. But I do believe that as a people, I have a question though, and then we'll kind of wrap it up after this. In the Bible, there was a part where people were building a tower, and I think it was like they were trying to build a tower up to God. And then eventually, what he did was he made it so they couldn't speak because they were trying to do something wrong or something like that. And so that's where supposedly all these different nations were created when God basically made it so they couldn't go up to heaven. And they basically were saying something like, it basically made it so that we weren't supposed to be one, essentially. We all went to church. Am I making that story up? Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
I've never heard that before, but I really just don't know a lot about it.
Do you know what I'm talking about? So I was just wondering, like, what if we're not supposed to all be one? What if we're not all supposed to be, like, mingling and doing all this extra shit? I mean, you don't really see, like, I don't know, we're all one species, though. Is it true white people got tails?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
So you say.
I don't know where you heard that from though.
Oh no, it's on one of my little conspiracy theory things. All right, so basically, as far as the preschool to prison pipeline, do you guys have a basic understanding on what that is, and how we came to a conclusion on how we cannot perpetuate the same cycles?
I understand what it is, but I mean, I don't think it's kind of hard to stop that cycle. Sorry, it's like 2,000 years in.
Do you feel like the world's changing though? Do you feel like our environment's going to change as far as the way things are schooling's going to be made? And no,
Because it works for the people that are making money. And that's really what it's about. School is a corporation that makes money, and a lot of it.
it makes tons.
Education makes so much money, and if it's not broken for them, they don't care about the kids that it doesn't work for. And I think that's one of the bigger problems.
I guess the only reason I asked is because Biden just signed this thing that basically stopped private prisons from taking government contracts. So basically, the idea from the school to prison pipeline was there's a test that's given every year, and based off of those scores and how many kids fail,
My third grade.
it depends on how many prisons are going to be built that year or whatever. And so if they're
You said by the third grade? How
yeah,
you run a test by the third grade? How the fuck do you know that?
I don't know.
It's just the standardized test. It's just
The
standardized
test that we
testing.
gotta take?
They made an algorithm based off of that test that basically says if you fail, you have this much chance of going to prison.
Can't read. It's all about tracking. School is just a big tracking system. Like
But that's how they built the prisons?
that's how they
Off of
continue
that test.
to.
That's how they build prisons and how many know how many to build
That's out of pocket.
per year, and that's
I ain't never knew that shit.
the idea of the school to prison pipeline. It's literally a system that's created to put a kid through school so they can already be trained to know how to act once it's already getting into prison. And so that's why I wanted to talk about it and how we as kids or as parents might perpetuate those same systems, or how we can potentially change them for the other kids that we have now.
Technically, damn, it is kind of the same.
What?
Like youth homes and like schools and stuff. I've been in jail so many times and shit, bro. It's like after doing so, like it's not the same. But then when you think about the guidance of like,
Nigga, when I went to jail, I never wanted to go back ever.
That ain't. I mean, why would you? I mean, shit. But,
Like, I never had that, like, oh, fuck, nigga, I've been to jail once, so I go again. Nigga, fuck that.
I just now got over that though.
Really?
Yeah, cause I don't give a fuck. At the end of the day, I'm like, either bail out, nigga, or you just
Nigga, I
sit
got-
down for this 5, nigga. What you want to do?
I think I want some
And then
money
again,
and some pussy.
I always was
and a
taught
good
to
meal.
don't ever do the. If you not, I'm not willing to do 20 or 15 years though. So even I'm willing to do 5 and 10. So like
Years?
yeah.
Should
nigga,
I stop thinking we was talking about days?
Man, so
I
whatever,
can't do that.
whatever crime you finna do, nigga, you gotta think about what come with your with that crime. You feel me? My shit. If I come rob you right now, I know I'm finna get $300. You feel me? Like I'm willing to go sit down for my whole time, my little cash for it. Shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's certain things that you gotta be. Then it's like I'm not looking to do no 20 or 15 years, but what I was getting ready to say is like it's different, but I guess having a guard walk back and forth is like being like a teacher. You know what I mean? Like you having to check in every like that shit is like
It's like a school, bro.
It's really like school. I was trying to think about it like
It's not the same, but it is the same. It's the exact same.
You really gotta be quiet. Like really, it's like
Yeah, at school also, I remember when I was in school to become a teacher, somebody was talking and said, becoming a teacher, you have to understand that you are the colonizer now.
Yeah.
And that was one thing I was just like, no. But then you really like, no matter if I'm what color I am, no matter how I'm teaching, I am still colonizing students to move a certain way, think a certain way, write a certain way. Like, color inside these lines. No, don't do that. Yes, do this. This is what you should look like. When you come into the school building, this is what you should wear. This is how you should move. And we still have that in the school system. and then that same thing continues and perpetuates. And it's something that it took a while for me, and I'm just like, okay, well, if I have to be the colonizer, I'm gonna make it work, and I'm gonna
be a good one.
I hope you all are just like. But then you also have to be honest with your students, and that's something that, and even with your kids, like, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to teach you what a colonizer is. I'm going to teach you what colonization is, and then I'm going to tell you what that looks like in your life right now. Yeah. And nobody is that honest with kids, and I think that that's the problem. They give kids the short end of the stick, like, oh, they can't handle that.
Yeah.
No, yes, they can.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Are you right in the fifth grade?
Yeah, no, I know.
I don't felt that show.
Hell no. I don't know none of that shit.
You know they the future. You know they.
That's crazy. All right.
You know what I mean?
You got any social medias? You got any Snapchats, social medias, Instagrams, Facebooks?
Yes, everything is just Be Lachey. BeeLeChe.
Can't beat that. Say that again.
Chocolate milk, cocoa milk.
Be Lachey. Yeah, my mom was really trying to be a little too fancy with my middle name. It's just Lachey.
So you just accent up there?
But like LECHE, I'm like, come on, mom, how? Like, how did this work for you?
Leche.
Yeah. Yeah.
Leche on everything. All right.
Yeah.
All right. It's your boy, Mr. HandCrafted.
No cap, shorty.